Hello and welcome to the Grand Line Review, your source for everything One Piece. So we have something a bit different today, and it all spawned from literally every second comment I get on my top 5 worst Devil Fruits video. Basically, Chopper's Hito Hito no Mi ended up claiming first place on that list because it would quite literally do nothing to the average human person eating it, which was the criteria for the list. However, an extraordinary amount of people were very quick to point out that a human eating the human fruit would result in quote-unquote enlightenment. And this is an idea that has spread so deeply within the One Piece community that it may as well have become canon for all we care. But I do care slightly more than that, primarily because an ungodly majority of my YouTube channel comments consist of people telling me to quote do my research on the Hito Hito no Mi, when they quite clearly haven't done the research on it themselves. So today we are going to go ahead and publicly bust the myth of enlightenment. Now, if you ask anybody where they got this whole enlightenment business from, they will do one of three things. Firstly, they will simply not answer you, either because they have immediately realized their statement is purely their own headcanon, or because they have become petrified at the idea of confrontation when they are on the receiving end. Secondly, they will point to some sort of widely viewed forum post of somebody proudly stating it without any sources whatsoever. Thirdly, and most legitimately, they will point to the second question of the final SBS in Volume 20. Now, questions in SBS segments tend to go a little something like this. Reader: since Luffy is made of rubber, does that mean he can stretch his dick? Oda: yes. Yes, he can. Or, Reader: since Buggy can detach all of his body parts, does that mean he can detach his dick? Oda: yes. Yes, he can. But every now and then some poignant questions do get asked, and one of them just so turned out to be what would happen if a human ate the human fruit. And this one question is what has sparked the entire issue here. Now, my personal speculation as to what's happened is that sometime long ago a very poor fan translation of this segment has made its way onto the web and has actually claimed that a human eating the fruit would result in enlightenment. Now, I can't prove this theory in any way, but it feels like the sort of thing that might have happened. Regardless, we are going to examine the modern day translations of Oda's answer to this question. The first of which comes from the One Piece wiki, and it does not have the translator listed, so that's already reason to be skeptical, but let's have a look anyway. Reader: what happens if a person eats the Hito Hito no Mi? Oda: I suppose I should say they become human. I guess you could say that means like becoming an adult or finding your true spirit or something. So basically, people will live more human-like. Well, I guess you could say that, or not. Basically, not. Goodbye. Runs away. And here we can see that Oda is just being Oda. This is clearly a question he's not thought about and is met with a classic joke answer that neither confirms nor denies anything. Although in this particular case he makes an active point of noting that everything he just said was in fact not true, with the statement, or not. Basically, not. Goodbye. So even if you did want to read into the idea of finding your quote true spirit as some form of enlightenment, it's simply not true. Now let's take a look at the official Viz translation, which is actually incredibly different from the wiki translation. Reader: what would happen if a human ate the human fruit? Oda: there's a saying we have in Japan, to become human, or rather, to come of age. It means to act like an adult or to stop acting crazy, to behave the way a human being is supposed to. Maybe that's part of it. Or not. Well, no. Yes, that's what I mean. Runs away. So this statement is much more ambiguous about Oda having denied all of what he just said, but it also has no reference to any sort of true spirit or anything even approaching the cohort of words you could use to describe enlightenment. Basically, the answer here is saying that a human eating the human fruit will simply grow up and behave the way an adult is supposed to behave. But the fact is that this is still a jocular response and was never intended to be taken seriously in any way, shape, or form. Now I should point out that I did try to source the original Japanese text, but with my kindergarten level of Japanese I was quite unsuccessful in doing so. If somebody wants to throw that in my face and point out exactly where the pragmatic word or phrase for enlightenment is, then I am all ears. But for now, this seems fairly open and shut. The other point I will mention briefly, very briefly because it's stupid, is that some people believe that Sengoku's devil fruit is evidence for enlightenment, as he does indeed transform into a giant golden Buddha. But Sengoku's devil fruit is a mythical devil fruit, the Hito Hito no Mi model Daibutsu. It's completely different from Chopper, who possesses a regular old human fruit. It's like comparing Marco's devil fruit to Pell's. One becomes a regular old bird, and the other becomes an incredible blue phoenix. So there you have it, my effort to dispel the enlightenment myth in the One Piece fanbase. If you have any evidence that says otherwise, I'm all ears, but please do cite your sources, and even post them if possible. And if you just so happen to enjoy this video, then feel free to like, favorite, or subscribe. This has been the Grand Line Review, and I'll see you next time.